Ruhe bevor Sohn!
Thank you. Hello, Internet viewers. I'm the Fairly Odd Gamer. With the new Superman movie now in theaters, I want to talk about another game based on the iconic superhero.
Hey, aren't we supposed to be talking about Shadow Generations?
Oh, I didn't know you were still here. Look, I think it's best for me to review a Superman game right now. You know, the new movie and all.
Oh my god, not this again, Lucas. Are you really going to try and rush out a review just to be on time for a new movie?
I really hate to do this, but I wish Seth was locked in his car.
We are doing Shadow Generations, and that's fine. Bradley!
Sorry, Seth, but it had to be done. Anyway, let's talk about Superman Returns. Released in June 2006, almost 20 years since the last time moviegoers saw the Man of Steel in theaters, Superman Returns came out around the time when superhero movies were starting to make a comeback, when movies like Spider-Man and X-Men became huge box office hits. Strangely enough, this movie was directed by Bryan Singer, who at this point already directed the first two X-Men movies. I actually remember seeing this movie in the theater at age 10 one time, but the movie itself didn't leave that much of an impact on me, except for this moment.
Get bold.
With almost $400 million at the box office and a 72% on Rotten Tomatoes, it was only fitting for this movie to get its own tie-in game. And for the longest time, I had no idea that this movie would end up getting a video game tie-in until I saw it at a game store a few years ago. And this is where I step in. Seeing that the last time I covered Superman was when I covered one of the worst games of all time, hopefully this game will be better. So, does Superman the tie-in game still hold up after almost 20 years? Let's find out, shall we? For this review, I'll be looking at the Xbox 360 version, though I'll also give a brief look at the PS2 version as well. Either way, both versions are pretty much the same game. Unfortunately, I ran into a small problem with my Xbox 360 not being able to read the disc. Might just be a small laser issue. However, after blowing into the console's disc port to remove the dust off the laser, I finally managed to get the game working. After knowing that Superman is a DC property, we said the game was made by Warworld Interactive Entertainment as well as EA Games. Even though I did briefly talk about a few EA games before by means of the Nintendo Preview DVD, I've never actually covered an EA game on this very channel. And fun fact, did you know this game came out 8 days before the movie's DVD release? Interesting to say the least. After a short intro cutscene that almost matches the style of the movie, the game begins, with a patriotic meteor shower hurtling toward Earth, Metropolis to be exact. Of course, Clark Kent senses the city to be in danger as he immediately transforms into Superman. Think of this first level as your tutorial level, but each of the controls are locked until you listen to everything your father Jor-El tells you telepathically about each new ability.
I will help you to learn to use your abilities.
That doesn't make sense, but anyway. You can launch into the air with the Y button, power launch by holding Y, as you fly to a destination marker that appears whenever Superman senses danger. Not only are you given a camera lock by holding the left trigger, but you can also destroy an ice meteor with heat vision by pressing up on the control pad and then press the right trigger to perform said ability. But suddenly a couple of flame meteorites hurtle toward the city. By tapping left on the control pad and once again holding the right trigger, you can extinguish flames with your super breath.
Only you, Superman, can prevent building fires.
There's also a map you can look at. That's good to know. By tapping right on the control pad, holding the right trigger lets you destroy the fire meteor with ice breath. But, oh no! More meteors! It's here where Superman can now fly or even run at super speed by holding the right bumper. And this is important because this is what you'll be doing for the majority of the game. So now it's up to Superman to destroy both the fire and ice meteors with the opposing elemental attack. And one more thing. You see the two meters on the left corner of your screen? The small red meter is your energy meter. While it does deplete whenever you take a hit or use an elemental attack, it does quickly replenish whenever you rest. And the giant blue meter above is the city's health meter. Yes, the city of Metropolis is the health meter for this game. So throughout the game, Superman has to constantly save the city without having the city of Metropolis crumble into mass destruction. After destroying the meteors and extinguishing another building fire, a giant meteor comes hurtling toward the sky, which Superman destroys by ramming into said giant meteor. Once you complete an objective, you'll earn experience points. And by earning enough experience points, Superman will then gain a new power-up as well as extra goodies like a trophy or another outfit for Superman. And it's also here where you can save your game. Oh yeah, there's one more thing I forgot to mention. Similar to Spider-Man 2, there's no autosave feature, so therefore, you have to pause the game and save the game manually. After a newspaper montage, including one that says astronomers discover kryptonite intact, and another saying Superman disappears, oh, so that's why this sentence makes sense. We find out that Superman has been missing for 5 years, but the citizens still wait in anticipation for the long-awaited return of the Man of Steel.
But on the anniversary of his disappearance, one question remains. Where is Superman?
I believed reports that my homeworld Krypton still existed, and I traveled half a universe only to discover. I was wrong. It was nothing but a graveyard. I'm all that's left.
As Superman heads back to Earth, he then gets intercepted by the leader of Warworld, Mongul. Though this place was never in the movie, Mongul takes Superman there as he's forced to fight in gladiatorial combat, with no possible way to escape. And first up, Superman fights against platoon warriors. It's here where you first learn about basic combat by pressing X to do a melee attack. You can even do a string of melee attacks and combos however you please. Oh, and unlike the previous level, this level's health bar now focuses on which gladiator the crowd favors more. Eventually you defeat the platoon army, but it's not over yet. In the words of WWE superstar Goldberg, who's next?
Undefeated in 8 galaxies, I give you Overcast!
Besides the purple electrical sonic boom attack, you can attack Overcast the same way as the others. Sounds easy, right?
Wrong!
There's a point at which Overcast transforms into a giant psychedelic hologram in which your physical attacks are no good against. So how do you defeat it now, you may ask? Simple, really. Just pick up a large object with the A button, lock onto Overcast, and throw that object at it, therefore inflicting damage. Okay, we'll try doing that while also avoiding that same electric boom attack. And let's not forget those purple electrical homing spheres. Did it really have to be this frustrating early on? Okay, just a bit of FYI, I actually play a bit of the PS2 version before finally getting my Xbox 360 working again. When I got to find the giant version of Overcast, I couldn't get past that annoying electric boom attack even while I was trying to throw something heavy at it. And that's when I gave up on the PS2 version. When I got to this point on the Xbox 360 after I got it working, I really didn't have a problem with this boss fight. And apparently, I even threw the object at giant Overcast while not getting hit by that electric boom attack. And this is why the AC version, in my opinion, is definitely the preferred version if you want to play this game. After enough damage, Overcast's undefeated streak is finally over. However,
it's not over yet.
Superman now has to face his last challenger, Mongul. It's also this point where you learn how to block your opponent's attacks by holding the B button. By also flicking the left control stick and ending it off with a melee attack, you can perform a surprise exchange combo. If at any point you get knocked out, then make sure you tap the Y button to get back up. Not to mention that Mongul can summon homing spheres, which Superman can destroy by either heat or ice. And at long last, Superman defeats Mongul.
Go on, Superman. You know you want to.
This fight is over.
Superman then flies out of Warworld as he heads back to Earth via his airship. Meanwhile, in the Arctic Circle, the Fortress of Solitude, we see Lex Luthor now joined by Kitty Kowalski, stealing a crystal that reveals a message from Superman's Kryptonian father. Back in Metropolis,
During the 5 years of my absence, much has changed. My mother is selling the farm and leaving Smallville. There's nothing left for me there. But even if Lois's article is right, and the world doesn't need Superman anymore, at least there's still a place for Clark Kent at the Daily Planet.
By the way, it's best to point out that most of the actors from the movie reprise their roles in the game. In addition to Brandon Routh as Clark Kent as well as Superman, we have Kate Bosworth as Lois Lane, Parker Posey as Kitty Kowalski, and Lex Luthor played by, Kevin Spacey. Look, despite all the controversy he's had in his life, at least he's trying to make a comeback. And speaking of which, I actually got to meet Brandon Routh, or rather, Hux got to meet Brandon Routh at a convention not too long ago.
Not only that, but I also got him to sign the gamer's copy as Superman Returns for the PS2.
Nice! Thanks, Hux!
No problem, dude!
Anyway, I asked Brandon Routh about what it was like to reprise his role as Superman for the tie-in game, and here's what I found out. Ralph told me that while the in-game cutscene dialogue was taken straight from the movie, he also recorded new dialogue for gameplay. Though I'm pretty sure he also went in to record dialogue for when Superman was in Warworld. Not only that, but I also believe that the in-game cutscene dialogue was either re-recorded or modified from the movie script by the original movie actors. But hey, at least it sounds similar to the movie. Anyway, Superman finds Metallo, who somehow made his way to Metropolis after hearing the news about Superman's return. So now it's up to Superman to defeat Metallo as well as his minions. While he can destroy the minions very easily, Metallo is a completely different matter. Though Metallo can teleport at random intervals, you can still attack Metallo with your physical attacks and combos. After depleting Metallo's health, he then escapes like the robotic coward he really is. Once you finish an event, you can then bring any injured citizen to a nearby ambulance for a city health boost. But it turns out, defeating Metallo doesn't automatically give you the required amount of experience points needed to, level up, I guess. So in order to fill up your XP meter, you have to fly around Metropolis and defeat every bad guy in a given area. Oh, and by the way, this is what you'll be doing for the majority of the game. Fly around Metropolis and save the city, whether by extinguishing building fires or by defeating enemies like robots and droids. After saving the world enough times, Superman then flies back to the Day Planet that then triggers a cutscene. Lex Luthor now knows about Superman's return as he plans another despicable crime.
Then again, as I've always said, to pull off the greatest crime of the century, one would want the greatest challenge of the century. Well, Superman, you're going to wish you'd never returned.
Once again, Superman fights Metallo while summoning more robot minions to destroy Metropolis. Fight Metallo the same way as before, and depleting its health causes Metallo to once again cower away. Wow, what a wuss. Anyway, defeat more bad guys, save the city, and fly back to the Day Planet for another cutscene. You know, had it not been for the required rings, this is what Superman 64 should have been. At the now former Vanderworth estate, both Lex and Kitty find out that planet Krypton was based on manipulating the growth of crystals, and plans to create a new world with said crystals. Luthor experiments this by placing one of the crystals in some water from a model train set. Not only does the crystal grow in size, but it also has enough power to generate an electromagnetic pulse, resulting in a major city blackout. Meanwhile, Superman fights more robots and eventually fights Metallo again. Same method as before.
Give up now, Metallo!
There's something I've got to get off my chest.
Metallo then transforms into a giant metallic monstrosity, but at least his transformation is quicker than Metal Sonic from Sonic Heroes. Because Superman can't fight Metallo with his fist, there's only one way to inflict damage on a giant Metallo. Like Giant Overcast in Warworld, you have to pick up a heavy object, lock onto Metallo, and hope that object hits Metallo after throwing at it. Easy, right? Well, try doing that while also getting rid of flying alien robots and a Metallo laser attack to avoid. And that's not all. After fully draining Metallo's health, Metallo then launches a giant missile in order to destroy Metropolis, which leaves Superman to go after the missile and intercept it by hurling it out to the sky. And by the way, this boss fight up until this point took me over an hour to get to. Why? Because that stupid laser attack is annoying as all get out. Seriously, even if I try to throw something at Metallo, that laser attack will destroy anything that I hold on to. After a series of button mashing, Superman then charges toward Metallo to rip out his power source, therefore defeating Metallo once and for all. By the way, it's here where I fly toward a wandering cat by the Superman statue, only to trigger another cutscene in which he encounters Mr. Misfitlick, an imp from the 5th dimension that likes to annoy Superman. He tells Superman that in order to get back these so-called treasures, Superman has to complete a few challenges scattered around Metropolis. Ah yes, a great way to pad out more game time. But anyway, finding a lost kitten will not only reveal a hint from the game, but it will also give the city of Metropolis a small health bonus. Lois Lane soon finds out about the blackout via phone call. Thankfully, most of Metropolis' power has been recovered, except for the Cadmus labs allowing failed cloning and genetic experiments to escape during the outage. They include dragons, Skullfires, Naris gargoyles, and even Bizarro, though not in the movie, he has appeared in the comics. So basically, Bizarro wants to, quote, help the city by destroying everything in sight, which is a bad thing. Even though Bizarro mostly uses the Earthquake combo, you can still counter with your own, like the Surprise Exchange. Damage Bizarro enough times and he'll fly away like the coward he is. But of course, Superman has to fight new enemies, all of which were escapees from Cadmus. First there's the Naris gargoyles. You can defeat them with heat vision, but they'll then turn to stone. In order to destroy the stone, just use your physical attacks and combos. Out of all the enemies in this game, the Skullfire dragons are probably the most annoying. Some of them blow ice at you that can deplete your energy meter, but you can defeat them via heat vision. The other group of Skullfires blow fire. You know, like a dragon. But they are the easiest to defeat because you can simply freeze and ram into them. As you defeat Bizarro again, as well as more creatures to destroy, you have to take part in air combat as you try to protect ongoing blimps from more dragons. While the red dragons try to destroy the blimps, the blue dragons want to make sure your energy meter quickly depletes. If at any point a blimp does catch fire, then best use your super breath to extinguish the flames. But if not, then the blimp will explode, therefore diminishing the city's health bar. Does this mean I'll automatically fail the level? Well, no. Even if you have one blimp still intact, you can still win. It actually took me an hour to get this mission done, and it's all thanks to those dragons. Like I said, they are the most annoying enemies in the game. It's also here where I first ran into one of Mr. Misfitlick's challenges, in which you have to speed through a rail path course while passing through these gates, and reach the end before Misfitlick does. Self-explanatory to say the least. After once again saving the city from building fires and enemies, which include Titan robots, Bizarro challenges Superman for the final time in a mirror match. After you damage Bizarro enough times above a bridge, you need to chase Bizarro down and damage him some more via heat vision and super ramming speed, while Bizarro tries to laser down a building. If you manage to deplete about a third of Bizarro's health, you have to button mash to ensure that your heat vision makes Bizarro plummet to the ground. But that's not all. You now have to fight Bizarro on the ground again, which means you can damage him the same way as before. Easy, right? Well, try doing that while dragons are constantly bombarding you! Not only that, but your distraction with the dragons will give Bizarro more time to destroy more of the city. Remember what I said about the dragons being the most annoying enemy in the game? This is why. After inflicting more damage to Bizarro, then Bizarro will once again teleport to another tall building to laser down. Damage Bizarro the same way the last time, and will then trigger another button mashing QuickTime event. And once again, you fight Bizarro on the ground, thankfully with no dragons. But the last phase? Oh boy. Let's talk about the last phase. You have to follow Bizarro to the golden Superman statue, which Bizarro tries to laser down. Surely this must be— oh, now the dragons show up! Just to give Bizarro some distraction time to deplete that city health bar? Oh, and by the way, this boss fight has no checkpoints. Meaning, if you get a game over even on the last phase of the boss fight, then you have to start the entire boss fight all over again. So, get this. After almost 2 hours and numerous attempts at defeating Bizarro for good, I give up playing the game legitimately. And yes, it is possible to beat this very boss fight legitimately, but there was no possible way I could do that, even if my life depended on it. So because of this, I've done what every gamer does when you don't have the time to figure things out for yourself.
You cheated!
Exactly. With the cheat codes I found online, I had to give Metropolis infinite health and infinite stamina to Superman. Oh, look at that. There's actually an achievement for cheating. You know, an achievement. Anyway, after depleting Bizarro's health yet again, it once again triggers a final round of button mashing via laser stare down, and Superman finally defeats Bizarro once and for all. Oh, and being the boss fight unlocks Superman's pod suit from the Warworld level. Oh, and before I move on, did you know that you can also play as Bizarro in this game? Not only as a mini challenge in which you have to destroy as much of the city as possible, but you can also free roam around the city as Bizarro. By entering the right cheat code and flying by the GNN building, you can then play as Bizarro. Pretty cool, huh? Anyway, having already tracked down the source of the power outage via Impulse, Lois sneaks into Luthor's yacht, where she then runs into Lex Luthor himself and takes her hostage. By the way, Lois, where's your son? Wasn't he in the boat with you in the movie? I guess the kid wasn't really important to the game's plot, so they just axed him off the game. But like I said before, most of the dialogue from the in-game cutscene were re-recorded from the movie script, by the same actress from the movie.
What do you know about crystals?
They make great chandeliers.
This crystal may seem unremarkable, but so is the seed of a redwood tree.
Lex Luthor, what do you know about crystals?
They make great chandeliers.
Well, this crystal may seem unremarkable to you, but then so is the seed of a redwood tree.
Luthor then tells Lois about his evil master plan, which, you know what, let's play a scene from both the game and the movie at random intervals.
You're building an island?
Oh, it's not just an island. It's an entirely new continent. For lack of a better name, it's Krypton.
Why?
Land, Miss Lane.
But the United States...
will be under water. It's simple physics, Miss Lane.
And you think that the rest of the world...
They'll what? I'll have Kryptonian technology. thousands of years beyond what anyone else can throw at me.
Bring it on!
And this leads to the movie's memorable moment. Here's the version from the movie.
Come on, let me hear you say it just once. Come on.
You're insane.
No! That. No, the other thing. Come on, I know it's just dangling off the tip of your tongue. Let me hear it just once, please.
Superman will never.
Wrong!
And here's the endgame version of said scene.
Come on, say it.
Luthor, you're insane.
No, not that. Superman will never let. Wrong!
I honestly don't know which version I should use whenever I do that joke again.
Maybe I should keep using the movie version.
Wrong!
Alright, game version it is. As Luthor shows Lois that he has kryptonite, Superman gets word that more cell escapees via power outages include another villain named Riot, or as he's known in real life, Frederick von Frankenstein.
That's Frankenstein.
Here's the catch whenever you fight him. Anytime you try to physically attack Riot, he'll clone himself twice. But after some research, I finally figured out how to defeat Riot. You have to neutralize Riot or one of his clones by freezing him and laser the frozen clone until it's done for. It may be annoying at first, but once you get the hang of it, the encounters will feel more like a walk in the park. After once again saving the city for goodness knows how long, we hear word that Warworld has now come to Metropolis. So that means a rematch between Mongol and his horde, including Overcast. If you remember how to defeat them at the Warworld arena, then you'll know how to beat them here on Earth. And yeah, you know what to do from here. Rinse, wash, repeat until you finally defeat Mongol, thankfully for the final time. Even though I have a few enemies left after defeating Mongol, it still acts as if I already finished the objective. I'm so glad this game now decides to be generous to me. Meanwhile at the yacht...
Are we there yet?
Close, Kitty. Close.
Mr. Luthor, we're approaching the coordinates. Latitude 40 degrees north and longitude 73 degrees west.
Lois then transfers the coordinates via fax to the native planet on Earth.
Where did you get this?
From the fax machine.
And yes, that's Sam Huntington reprising his role of Jimmy Olsen from the movie. As Clark discovers the coordinates, just off the coast by the way, he then, I presume, transforms into Superman and goes after Lex Luthor. Meanwhile, Lex launches a crystal into the river, resulting in multiple tornadoes, which Superman has to stop before they destroy the city of Metropolis.
It's a twister! It's a twister!
You can make the tornadoes disappear with your ice breath, as well as extinguishing any burning buildings. Once the tornadoes are done, the game is finally WRONG! A giant twister appears, but you have to save the citizens in danger, as well as extinguishing more burning buildings. After that, Superman flies in the tornado and, get this, there's a tornado inside the tornado. How and why is that even possible? Anyway, you have to alternate your fire breath and ice breath depending on what color the tornado is in order to neutralize said tornado. If it's red, then use your ice breath. If it's blue, use your fire breath. And try doing this while also avoiding any debris coming towards you by the side. Eventually, Superman averts the natural disaster and even unlocks the Golden Age Superman outfit. After Superman saves Lois from the sinking yacht, he finds Luthor and Kitty on the growing island as we get another scene from the movie replicated in game. Luthor punch! As well as another hilarious Luthor moment.
You're asking yourself how?
I'll show you how. Here's the original movie for context.
Kryptonite.
And here's the endgame version of said moment.
Kryptonite. Amazing, isn't it?
Again, I can't tell which version is better. They're both amazing takes.
So Luthor continuously kicks Superman, who's now weak due to kryptonite, until Superman falls into the river. But thankfully he's saved by Lois and, I guess, her fiancé, who we don't see until now, by Coast Guard boat plane. After Superman gets bathed by sun rays, he flies underneath the Luthor island of kryptonite, causing Luthor and Kitty to escape via helicopter as he launches the island into space, exerting all his energy in the process. The game ends with Lois writing an article about Superman as we get a montage of what happened throughout the game.
I asked the question, does the world still need Superman? The answer is yes.
Wait, that's it? The final level was Superman fighting off the tornadoes? It would have been nice to have the final boss between him and Lex Luthor on the Kryptonian island. That would have been awesome. Though, to be fair, Superman didn't really fight Lex Luthor in the movie anyway, so yeah. We do get an epilogue chapter in which you have to reach
5 million XP.
Or you can just stop the game right there and be done with it.
So, what do I think of the Superman Returns tie-in game? It's alright.
At first, I actually had fun with this game, like getting to punch enemies, blasting through super speed, and even getting to use your powers however you want to. However, once I managed to progress further in the game, it started to get repetitive at times. Graphically, it looks okay for an Xbox 360 game. Some of the character models from the in-game cutscenes seem a bit uncanny, mainly with Luthor and Superman himself. I do like how grand the city Metropolis is, and heck, even some of the villains that weren't in the movie looked like they were taken straight from the comics. As for the overall gameplay, I wouldn't say they're terrible by all means, but sometimes the button registration can get delayed, and other times the controls don't work the way I want them to. And even if I'm trying to target onto or find a certain enemy, trying to manually move the camera can be a hassle at times. And yeah, having a tornado as the game's so-called final boss doesn't really work for me. It also would have been nice to have the game use some of the movie's original score. However, I'm glad I got to hear some of the actors reprise the roles from the movie, even if the dialogue was re-recorded. Overall, Superman Returns is an okay game. While the game does look good, it's the gameplay that, for the most part, wasn't executed very well. Ironically, this is considered by many as the best Superman game of all time, so it's a shame that the Man of Steel was dealt the sword straw, filled with kryptonite. So for me, it's best to proceed this game with caution.
But now with Superman out of the way, I gotta get ready for the next review. After all, I do owe somebody a favor. Anyway, I'm the Fairly Odd Gamer, and I wish you a good luck the rest of your day or night, wherever you are. Take care, everyone.
Hey everyone, Sonic here. Want to help out the Fairly Odd Gamer in future endeavors? It's simple, really. Just be like the Flash, or rather me, by supporting the channel either on Patreon or by being a YouTube member like Luke Jeffers, Scarlet the Hedgehog, Johnny Gallagher, and Big Money 2112.